not obviously not a Raptor type game really per se. But how a game like this, how easy is it to flush? And like, how quickly do you think this team will flush it, considering it's a scrimmage and it really doesn't mean a whole lot?
Right after the game ended, I mean, obviously we talk about it and how we can improve and get better, but take it for what it is and move on to the next. I mean, get real. Come Saturday, I believe we're going to play the first, so can't focus too much on this one. I mean, take the learning areas that we can and see how we can get better moving into the actual seeding games and get ready for the real deal.
Do you think this one is just a product of how long it's been playing these meaningless games?
I thought we had some good moments in the game. I think we just got to continue to work through getting back into the shape and form that we want to be in. I can't say it's been fun how we've been in Naples and been here. It's a long drag, but we're getting closer and closer to the real deal, and that's what we're focusing on. We learn from how we can get better and get tighter on defense to where we were before the hiatus, and go from there.
All right. Thanks, Norm. Appreciate it.
Michael Grange from Sportsnet is next.
Norman, how are you?
How are you?
Hey, got another good match there. All right. You guys are taking good advantage. There's who knows how many is the right number of exhibition games, but I guess for you, first couple of games you had some energy, didn't shoot it great, and then today you come out and everything you touch seems to you knocked it down like it was pre-pandemic. So how did you manage these 3 games? How did you approach them? Were you just trying to ramp up, or what do you think you got out of them?
I approached it going in there with the same focus as a regular game. Obviously taking so much time off, the flow, the feel, the rhythm, the balance of the way you were before, you're going to take a little second to get that all back, So just go out there and play and let it all out. You're going to make mistakes, miss shots, turn the ball over, whatever, trying to get back into the flow of how you were playing before and just the chemistry standpoint. But each game, I try to take a little something from it. I mean, obviously the first 2 didn't do, but positive as long as I was getting good looks and shooting it with confidence, just move on to the next game. I practiced those shots millions of times, so not anything too drastic that had to change today. Felt a little better, a little more pop in my legs, a little more feel, a little more flow. Game rhythm, I should say, and chapter 8 before, be able to find my rhythm, my steps, and make better reads.
Awesome. Quick question: how is bubble life? Like, have you kind of taken up anything new, or are you kind of sticking with some of those hobbies you told us about before the pandemic? Are you getting no fishing, or is it you just going to the gym and going to your room?
Lately, I've been going to the gym, going to my room. As we get closer and closer to the real games, I'm trying to get into a routine, get into a rhythm, just to know what it's going to feel like, when things really get going. So kind of taking a step back from all the extra hobbies and stuff, trying to get focused, just get into a natural state of things like I was doing during the regular season. So that's what I've pretty much been doing, trying to focus and lock it in.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Norm. Have a great night.
Thanks, Michael. We'll go to Josh next.
Hey, Norm. Apart from a little bit of rust and maybe today a little bit more rust as a team, you guys played pretty well over the 3-game scrimmage stretch. A lot of moments that were similar to how you guys were playing before the hiatus. Did that surprise you in any way, how quickly that you guys were able to kind of pick back up on that?
I don't think so. I mean, we have a pretty good, close-knit group and a veteran player, who played this game for a long time. We got a lot of guys who have high IQs and kind of used to figuring things out and adjusting and going with the flow of things. So I'm not too surprised, the way we respond, when adjustments have to be made. Like I said, we're going to take the positives out of how we were able to come together in these last 3 games and make plays and things like that, and then look for the things that we need to improve on mainly defensively, being a little more tied in and, not a half second late on rotations and things like that. But I'm not shocked at all the way we've been playing together. And it's good to see the full lineup and how we're able to play with guys in different position and seeing how like rotations and things like that work.
I want to ask you about OG. It seems like he's taken a big step forward in terms of his off the dribble game. In your experience in the NBA year to year, how does that growth happen? I know obviously it's got to be a lot of hard work, but for you, was there also that element of added confidence with the additional experience year to year as well? Or how did you sort of find that that learning curve throughout your early career?
I think continuing to work on it, and continuing to make reads. Early on, you kind of slow yourself down, and the game's moving really fast for you. So you're just trying to work on things that are not too out of character. That's going to take away from the offense, and you just slowly build up and see where you can attack. For me, it's getting out of transition, getting to the rim, creating those type of opportunities, and then just how the offense flows on our drive, kick, swing stuff, and attacking off the dribble. And then you start building up. When you start able to make those plays, the simple reads, then you're going to be able to get a little more into your packaging and you've been working on getting guys off the dribble. I think OG's been doing that. He's been working a lot on it in practice, controlling his body and his handle and using his body to get to where he wants to be. So I think it just slowly build up. The more you do it, the more confidence you have in it, and the more you're just going to be able to do it naturally. And I think you see that, as the game's been going on.
Thanks, Norm. Take care.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh. Next, we'll go to Dan from the LA Times.
Hey, Norm. Nice logo. I'm curious, for us that are watching these games on TV, it looks very different, right? We see the virtual fans. We don't see a crowd. We hear more sneakers and all of that different stuff. Does it feel different? How different does it feel to play in this environment? And then I guess, secondly, is there anything you're really curious to see in terms of what the rest of the league looks like here over the next, 2-3 weeks before we head into the playoffs?
I think the only big difference is when you're getting warmed up and you're running out there, it's quiet and all you hear is the announcer calling the team's name. I think that's the most thing that stands out the most for me. When you're in the game, you're focused on what you need to do, focused on the coverages and what you're trying to execute that we've gone over as a team. So I don't really notice the environment. I think the biggest thing is when the team starts going on a run or something like that, the energy from the opposing team gets a little higher, and that's when you start to feel the momentum shifting in the game. But shot to shot and things like that, I think it doesn't really affect the way it would if you had a home crowd or a away crowd. I know they're starting to add more arena sounds in there, and definitely this game that had the crowd and all that. So I don't really see anything different when you're playing. You just focus on the game.
Any follow-up, Dan?
Oh, yeah, sure, Phil. No, I was just curious that, Norm, is there anything you're curious to see from the rest of the league, whether it's how in shape guys are, or guys, do you expect everybody to kind of perform the same way as they did in March, or do you think like this is going to look really different for a lot of teams?
Well, I think everybody's going to have to, work their way back game by game and get into the actual mid-season form that everybody was in before the hiatus. I think, it's going to be a slow build-up. I mean, I'm not really focused on what other teams are doing in terms of if they're in shape or not. I'm really focused on our guys and what we need to do to get to the level that we want to play at, to get back to the championship. That's my main focus. So, to be honest, I'm not looking at how the league is going to be shaped and what guys are feeling and doing things like that. As long as my guys are good and we're all tied in and we're ready to go out there and compete and lay it on the line, that's what matters to me.